YouTube, what's up, what's up? Mason back with another market forecast for the week. So, hope all you guys had a great trading week. Hope all is well with you and your family. And hope you guys have a great trading week this week. Hope you guys learned something new last week. I hope you guys continue to be positive for the year 2024. Other than that, let's get to this video. So, last week, how I always start off is we go back to where we were last week, right? Which was around here. So, if you guys remember, we ended the week around this area. Is it that area? Yep, around here. And I remember it was around here. And I remembered saying that if we were to, let me make this closer. Alright. So I was saying that if we were to get a break out of this area right now, if we were to get a break out of this area and a retest, we probably could try to take it up, right? What we got was a breakdown out of this area. So when we got the break, because we were still around this area here, we had the break of this high, but as soon as this broke, it pushed right back down, which showed that price might not have interest in that area. So this would be considered more so a fake out. So what I was anticipating for was to see a price would break back out of this area, retest, push back up, right? So when the market started open up, we started having a little push down. We broke these lows here, but made it past this low, and I also broke this wick. So once we broke this wick, we have an indication and an idea that price could potentially pull back to these areas, which it did here, and give us some kind of sell to go lower. Now be mindful now, I didn't get in this trade because when this happened, I still wasn't like, I still was a little iffy because I was all buy. I had a buy bias, I'm gonna be honest. So I was a little iffy. I was like, okay, I understand that we're trending, but for some reason I just didn't like the first push up, so I didn't enter. But officially, this would have been the break and the retest, So now if you see that it never reached the overall TP, it went back to the zone, which can always happen. So some people would have this as their first targets, back to the 0% be their first targets. Some would have this, like myself, would have this as my first target at negative 27. Now at times I would see how price reacts to this area here, and that would make me know if I want to come out of it or not, especially when it comes to my risk to reward. So if this is a 1-to-1, let's say from my entry to here is probably a 1-to-1, I would think if I should just close it out and call it one over. But if this doesn't make it be a 1-to-1 from here, I'm not gonna close it out. A 1-to-5, yeah, I'm closing that out here. You understand? So it's just ways like that. But other than that, we had an impulse down here. We had our first impulse here. We had our pullback here. We should have had our continuation leg, but we just got a huge double bottom. So now, what I also was anticipating for last week was, I've noticed that every time price touches this trend line, So we have the trend line from this top. Every time price touches this trend line, it drops. Every time price touches it, it drops. So I was anticipating when I saw this first push up here, and then I saw price came back down here and didn't break. I said, okay, I could potentially see a buy, and I only wanted to go back to this trend line before dropping. This was around CPI, I believe, and price wicked up. So I didn't enter this as yet, because I did not enter this. I entered this on my live account, not on the funded account. But I didn't enter this because I wasn't sure on how the news results was gonna come out, so I left it alone. But this right now played out there and then dropped. So from here, it retested the trend like I anticipated for and then dropped. But I thought it would have actually dropped to this TP1. It just dropped back to this zone. So it was almost like consolidation in a way around these areas. But then Friday came and price just rallied back up. Rallied up. Now it's retesting these areas, which was support, 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 resistance, 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 resistance. That can now act again as support to go up. So I would anticipate the price to either go back to these wicks here once again, or price can start to come back around these areas here. So it broke the trend line. That gives me confirmation, which was being respected. Now I'm not the type to always go for trend line break and retest. I don't really go off that. I go off of zones, areas, and whatsoever. But I can potentially see price pushing back to this -27. If not, then I can see the 0%. Now, how far will the pullback comes before selling, before buying? I'm not sure, because price could just continue rallying up, or price could give another pullback before buying. So I'm already in this trade, and if price do tend to pull back and then give me, let's say price comes to this 50%, then what I will do, I'll see if because I will be in some drawdown, but I will see if it gives me any confirmation candle once again. If it does, then I will enter again with another lot size and just have stops just a little bit lower, but I'll keep the same trading and we'll just go from there. But this right here is my analysis for the week. Yeah, so I was in this earlier last week for a buy. It was around the same area here when I saw price wick down these areas and then wick back up and the CPI was done. I said, okay, I could potentially see a buy at least back to these areas that could possibly get this to close or to test these wicks once again. Price started to rally up, and I told myself, I said, hold on, I'm having another trend line that's being respected now, -1. So I'll have to wait for price to actually break this before saying, okay, I could see it continue to buy up. Price came up and then stopped me right out and then pushed right back up. So I'm like, it is what it is. Can't be mad at the market. It's not, I never had a great I would say a great confirmation that I entered this trade, but you know how us traders go at times. We are so we just think we know it all, and we pay the price. GU. So for GU, we had last week, I told you guys about this trade last week. So what happened here was we had the break of the trend line. We broke structure here, so we had some resistance, support, 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 support. Broke it. We end up retesting it. Although this was a big retest, deeper retest, many people would have tried to enter this for sales. They wouldn't have been wrong. because it did sell back down to these areas before pushing back up. But once I saw it break the trend line and this one, I said, okay, I could potentially see buys. That's why I had this area here to pull back before buying. This was the divergence that I had. So Monday came about. We had this big push. You guys remember that? Had to pull back, and at that point, I believe I had my zone drawn around here because this was actually my high that I need to be broken. So I had my zone around here, and I entered off of the same. Where is it? Let me come back. I entered off of the same candle right here. The same green candle. That's where I entered. Stops was below the zone, always never in the zone, always space. And I start carrying my targets a little lower than these highs right there. So price started that Sunday started off with some drawdown. Monday came with some drawdown, and I was like, shoot, like I probably marked this up wrong. Like what's going on? But then it found resistance, I mean support a little lower than I anticipated. Pushed back up, I made some nice decent profits. Almost was out 1 to 1. Then came back down, went back up like just consolidated. Now what happened was when I was in that gold trade, I didn't put any stop loss. So once I pressed put on alert. So once my alert triggered and told me that my stop loss was being triggered, I ended up closing out both of the trades because I just tried to close gold out quick. So I just said close all trades. So yeah, this GU is still playing out right now. It's just what this would have been a swing trade, whereas I usually don't be in a trade this long. This would have been a whole week now. Usually the longest a trade would be is just within that same week. So this was kind of like wow to me. But at the moment we have this resistance area that right now is being respected heavily. One there, one there, one there. Drop, drop, drop. You're trying to break it, but now we also have this trend line that is being respected. So we have a touch there, push up, touch there, push up. We try to break it, reject this heavy, pushed up, try to come back down, pushed up, retest it, pushed up, try to break it, rejected it again, but also rejecting this zone. So you notice 1, 2, 3, 4 times it rejected this zone, but also rejected this trend line. Then a smaller pullback here, rejected the trend line, pushed up, but now if we can see the buy momentum is actually fading away too. The bullish momentum is actually fading because the pull back to these areas are getting weaker. So now what can initially happen is what I would be anticipating for. I'll see if price can break these same highs right now this week. If it give me a pullback to these areas, then I could probably take it up. If not, then I'll wait for price to at least break this trend line plus the last high low. Give me some kind of retest around these areas or even back to the resistance before selling. That's what I will have for GU. For UJ, UJ did me dirty. UJ did me dirty last week. Really did me dirty. Because we had divergence here last week. If you guys remember, divergence was here. I said I could actually look for cells to come around these areas at the zone around here. Had a nice impulse, pull back, continuation. So if I put the fit back on this would be it here. Impulse, correction right there. Had the continuation. So I entered off the same red candle right there. I put a sell stop in it because it's just consolidated. I just put sell stops. So once price get to that area, I could potentially sell. So Price started off very good, very good, very good, and when I say I was loving it, was loving it. Account was booming. It was, how many pips was this away from my TP? This was around 18 pips away from my TP, and then price just started pulling back. Once I saw the screen candle, I wasn't worrying about nothing because I said, okay, price probably already broke these candles, so I could still see some kind of selling pressure just to finish this off. Or these two red candles, I said, okay, that's it there. And then I left my phone alone. When I went back to it a couple hours later, I saw the pullback, the rejection, and I saw this big red candle that took place. And I said, okay, now there might be the final push down. Left my phone alone again. Came back a couple hours later, then I saw I was all the way back to break even. Now, some of you guys might be like, Mace, right? Then you take profits or put stops to break even or put stops in profit. My strategy that I use, I don't do it. I don't do that with my strategy. It's going to eat it. My stop loss is either going to hit my targets. It is what it is. I'm okay to live with the results. That's why I also manage my risk. I risk 1% on every trade unless I'm feeling myself and just want to, I don't know, get some type of, I don't know what to say, play with the market, just go with a crazy lot size, whether I win or lose, like I did earlier this week. I'm gonna show you guys that as well. But yeah, I had everything in the bag with this one. Yeah, you can't number that. But after it broke that, I know, okay, this might not be going my direction. Gave a pullback, which I was anticipating for, because I said, okay, if that pullback, I could potentially see a pullback back to these areas, yeah, because this was my lower high before making this little lower low. So price broke, I said I could potentially see a sell back down here before buying up, and just like that, it almost sold back down to the entry before pushing back up. But that was a trick I just couldn't get into at the moment. So finally, I had some divergence showing, and all I did was go to my last pullback that was there, identify my last pullback. So my last pullback that would be identified would be this big spin high, this pullback there before this. So what I want to see, always my divergence, once price breaks and close, push away, I want to see price either retest these areas or retest these last highs before selling. So price came, give me the retest. But what happened was, times I recognized the trade, it was too late for my end. No, what happened was, it was, it didn't go exactly where I anticipated to go to. I was expecting it to go at least back to these highs right now before selling. Price wick almost got that, but then started selling, so that was a trade I couldn't get myself into. But for this week, I'm still looking to see if UJ can finish off its sell back down to these areas. If so, then I would then follow up and see what else I can see from there. But for now, I don't have anything for UJ at the moment. But UJ could potentially also pull back, before selling, but I'm not sure. I can't say right now, so I wouldn't mess with UJ at the moment. Finally, would be GJ. So GJ, I had some divergence last week. I was waiting for price to break these areas right now, which it did. I was looking for a pullback, which it gave me also. Now, the only thing it didn't give me was the continuation. So I had the impulse, I had the pullback, so I can move this right now. I had the impulse, I had the pullback, and I was looking for the continuation to come back down to at least this negative 20, negative 61, which will also be in line with this area right there, what I was anticipating for. But I guess GJ had its own thing to do. So we also end up having this trend line that was being respected. Price broke out of it after a while. started to buy, pushed out of this heavy resistance. So even if you go on your 4 hour, you can see that this is a strong resistance area. Price came here, short down, came here, short down, came here, didn't short all the way down, found less momentum, but still pulled back from that area, which is still showing resistance before coming with this strong push up. So now we're having almost the same thing that we had here. We had a breakout of resistance, divergence, sell, big push up. So I'm anticipating for the market to do almost the same thing. Divergent, push out, divergence, pull down, shoot up. Also have the trend line ready for a break out on the 15-minute. But this divergence what I'm talking about now was where I took my biggest loss this week, I would say. I really over leverage on that because I said I could see this really selling back down to these areas. The only thing was the lot size that I used, I only wanted to risk a certain amount to gain a certain amount. And I guess I went in just a little bit too much or a little bit too early, I guess. I entered of this candle here and I anticipated for it to just continue selling. This whole green candle here is what took me out. If I went in this for, let's say, $2 or $3 less than what I did, because I went this for like $9 on a $9 for a $9 lot size. If I'd have went this for, let's say, 6 to 7, I could have put stop loss a little bit higher and I could have still been in this trade and I could have got a good amount of pips. This would have been from here to here, 66 pips. This would have been around 54 pips stop loss. So, and I still could see this pulling down, so that's why I have the alert here. So once price alerts me, I can now wait for confirmation to actually try and see if I can get the buy opportunities to actually carry it up there, and that will look like this. So this is what I'm anticipating for. Depending on how far price pulls back, if it pulls back in this zone, then I carry it all the way back up here to -61. If it gives me just a 50% pullback, then I'll just carry it to the -27. And that right there that would be me for the week. If I can get the whole full play, 357 pips, that would be me for the week. Because I aim for 300 pips, and I'm cool with that weekly. I sometimes get them one trade, probably 2 trades, but I usually trade probably I'd say 3-4 time max. I'd say max would be like 4, depending on the pips on that GU or UJ gives me and how long gold takes to play out. Because gold can give me my 250, 300 pips within a couple of days. But that's what I have on GU. Wait for this to pull back, wait for a breakout of this trend line, then I can spy this. So yeah, that's all I have for today. The market's open up now, I guess. It's 5 p.m. now, so I guess we just have to wait and see what happens. Anyways, hope you guys stay safe, enjoy your trading week, all the best. Let's get this money. Peace.